All right, so you want the inside scoop on how Kia rebranded themselves, right? Not just like the stuff you see on the surface, but the real, like, deep down core identity things.
Yeah.
Well, get this. We're diving deep into their official corporate identity guidelines from 2021. And trust me, this document
Oh, wow.
is like their branding Bible. It
Yeah.
covers everything
Uh-huh.
from the logo
Okay.
to how their employees should wear their ID cards
Interesting.
to the stuff they put on factory safety helmets.
Wow. Okay.
So get ready for some really surprising details.
I am. Yeah, it's really fascinating how much emphasis they put on this completely unified brand experience.
Right.
Like every single element connects back to their core message. It's not just about slapping a logo on things and calling it a day.
Exactly. So let's unpack that core message.
Sure.
The document actually sums up their new brand strategy as movement that inspires ideas.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is how they're building on Kia's history here. I mean, they've been around for over 70 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And their whole story has always been about movement.
Right.
But now they're taking that idea and evolving it into something more aspirational, something that resonates with
Yeah.
the modern individual who's navigating this complex world.
Absolutely. It's not just about getting from point A to point B anymore. It's about the journey and like what inspires you along the way.
Exactly.
And I think that brings us to the logo,
Okay.
which, yeah, it is sleek, it's modern,
Mm-hmm.
but there's way more to it than just a stylized KIA.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they've actually woven a lot of symbolism into the design.
Okay.
So there's symmetry,
Okay.
which reflects customer satisfaction, their vision for the future. Then there's rhythm, symbolized by those connected lines representing constant change and inspiration.
Right.
And then finally, there's this concept of rising, which is embodied in that 31-degree angle and those beveled stroke ends. It's all about Kia's ambition and customer focus.
I get the symbolism.
Yeah.
But then they go on and on in this document about all these rules and how you're not supposed to use the logo.
Oh.
Like stretching it,
Oh.
skewing it, giving it an outline. It's like you're committing a design crime.
Oh, wow.
And they even have examples of how the logo gets misused. And some of them are honestly pretty hilarious.
Right.
But doesn't that seem a bit restrictive? Like, don't they trust designers to, use it creatively?
Well, they are really serious about maintaining consistency across the board.
Okay.
I think their point is that no matter where you see that logo, it should always be reinforcing that intended message.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, so speaking of consistency, let's talk color.
Yep.
So Kia's color system has three main parts: primary colors, point color, and secondary colors.
Mm-hmm. And each part plays a distinct role in creating that overall brand feel.
Right. So the primary colors are Kia Midnight Black and Kia Polar White,
Okay.
which represent
What is it?
opposites united. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so black is elegant, modern,
Mhm.
and it absorbs all light, whereas white symbolizes purity, new beginnings, and it reflects all light.
Mhm.
So they're going for that sense of balance, and it highlights Kia's expansion beyond just cars.
Right.
But honestly, isn't that phrase opposites united kind of cliche?
Uh-huh.
And do you think that just sticking with black and white actually helps them stand out? Or is it a bit too generic?
That's an interesting point. And you're right that it is a pretty common concept.
Yeah.
But I think the effectiveness really depends on how it's executed.
Good.
And in Kia's case, I think that contrast does create a really striking visual identity.
Okay.
And it provides this clean backdrop for their point color to really pop.
You mean the Kia Live Red?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It symbolizes new ideas, dynamic energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got more of a human touch.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting how red's no longer like a primary color for them.
Okay.
It's used more strategically to make an impact.
Because it's like that pop of red.
Is a reminder of their roots in the automotive world,
Right.
but the black and white represents that forward-thinking vision.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And then there's the secondary colors,
Uh-huh.
Kia Afternoon Yellow,
Okay.
Kia Forest Green,
Mhm.
and Kia City Gray,
Yeah.
which all link to sustainability, different lifestyles, and that human warmth vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really trying to connect with their audience more personally.
Yeah. And those secondary colors are used more subtly, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Mainly for mood
Yeah.
and adding those lifestyle cues.
Exactly.
Yeah, they support the primary colors and that really powerful point color
Okay.
to create a nice, well-rounded palette that speaks to a wider range of emotions and experiences.
Okay, so we've covered the logo and the colors.
Mm-hmm.
What about the typeface?
Ah, yes.
They call it Kia Signature, and it's designed to convey uniformity and harmony across all their materials,
Mm-hmm.
and they have those sharp edges and thick strokes.
Yeah.
So it has that kind of like mechanical yet human feel.
Yeah.
Just like their whole human-centered tech company vibe.
Yeah, what's really fascinating is that they've actually developed separate Latin and Korean typefaces,
Oh, wow.
and both are built on what's called a humanist structure.
Interesting.
And they even carried over specific features from the Latin typeface to the Korean one to make sure there's consistency across the board.
And they even point out how specific letter forms, like the K, the W, and the lowercase y, all represent Kia's new directions.
Yeah, it seems like every little detail is carefully considered to tell their story.
And they haven't just designed one typeface, there are different weights.
Right.
Bold for headlines, regular for body text, light for captions.
Mhm.
So they've thought of everything to make sure the typeface is flexible and works seamlessly in any context. Okay, so we've got the logo, the colors, the typeface,
Yeah.
and we haven't even touched on the graphic motifs and icons yet.
It's a lot.
This is getting pretty deep.
It really showcases how committed they are to crafting this really cohesive and recognizable brand identity. Every element has been so carefully considered and connected.
Okay, so next up, we'll explore those graphic motifs and icons. So stay tuned.
Okay, so we've covered like the logo, the colors, and the typeface, all the foundational stuff.
Yeah. Right.
But there's more to this visual identity puzzle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're just getting to the fun part.
Yeah.
Kia's graphic motifs.
Okay.
These aren't just like random design elements. They're like little pieces of the logo bursting with energy and motion.
So they actually call them dynamic and enduring
Yeah.
in the document.
Uh-huh.
So basically they're taking parts of the logo
Yeah,
and using them to tell their brand story visually.
exactly. Yeah, all about creating that sense of visual continuity and reinforcing that instant recognition.
Okay.
So when you see these motifs, you immediately know it's Kia,
Uh-huh.
even without seeing the full logo.
And there are different types of these motifs, right?
Yes, there are three main types,
Okay.
labeled A, B, and C in the document.
Okay.
Each one emphasizes upward movement and energy.
No downward lines allowed.
Interesting.
Key is all about that positive rising vibe.
So it's not just about looking cool.
Right.
It's about conveying a feeling, an attitude.
Precisely. And of course, there are very specific guidelines on how to use these motifs correctly. Margin, sizes, thickness, logo placement. It's all meticulously spelled out.
It's like they've created a visual grammar guide for their brand.
Exactly. And it ensures that no matter where these motifs appear,
Okay.
whether it's a brochure, a website, or even a billboard,
Yeah.
they're always used in a way that is consistent with Kia's brand identity.
Speaking of consistency, what about icons? Those are super important these days for like websites, apps, all that digital stuff we use every day.
Absolutely. And Kia has a whole set of icons designed to work seamlessly with their signature typeface.
Okay.
They're clean, modern, and visually consistent with the rest of the brand identity. It's all about creating that cohesive experience no matter where you encounter the brand.
You know, this reminds me of this one time I saw this like hilariously bad logo fail on a billboard.
Oh, no.
They totally butchered the company's branding.
Uh-oh.
I can't even remember what company it was, but their logo was like stretched out of proportion. The colors are wrong. It was a mess.
Oh, yeah.
But it just made me realize how important consistency is for brand recognition.
Absolutely. It's those kinds of visual mishaps that Kia is trying to avoid with these guidelines.
Right.
They're making sure that their brand is always presented in the best possible light.
Man, it's not just about the big obvious stuff either. It's
Right.
about those tiny details.
Yeah, like how they pay attention to the stroke endings and interior space of the icons,
Okay.
making sure they harmonize perfectly with the Kia signature typeface. And they even adjust the icons slightly to match the different typeface weights.
It's like those subtle details that really elevate a brand.
Absolutely. Kia understands that every touch point, no matter how small, contributes to the overall brand experience.
So it's not just about slapping a logo on a website or an app.
Right. It's about creating this whole visual language that is consistent across all platforms and mediums.
Exactly. From the biggest billboard to the tiniest icon on your phone screen. Kia wants you to have that consistent and positive brand experience.
But they don't stop there.
Nope.
This document goes way beyond logos and icons.
Right. They delve into all sorts of other applications like general affairs forms and stationery.
Okay.
Think employee ID cards, nameplates, corporate flags.
Yeah.
Even the paper they print on is considered.
And then there's all the promotional stuff.
Yeah.
Placards, banners,
Yeah.
shopping bags, tape.
Oh, wow.
They even have guidelines for branded face masks.
It's amazing how much thought goes into these things.
I know, it's incredible.
They've really covered all the bases.
And they have specific guidelines for how to use the logo and branding on their vehicles too, right?
Absolutely. From test drive vehicles and company cars to partnerships and special events, it's all carefully considered.
Okay.
They even have specific guidelines for how to apply decals and graphics to different car models. Wow, they really have thought of everything.
And let's not forget Kia's commitment to sustainability.
Right.
They emphasize using eco-friendly materials and achieving carbon neutrality in their corporate identity items.
And you know how committed they are to sustainability?
How much?
It's not just talk, it's woven into their identity.
Yeah.
Even things like employee badges and promotional materials are designed with eco-friendly materials.
It's great to see a company walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
So after seeing all this detail, it makes you wonder, is Kia still just a car company?
Right.
Or are they something more?
That's the question they want you to ask yourself.
Yeah.
They're clearly positioning themselves as a lifestyle brand,
Okay.
one that is connected to movement, inspiration, and bringing ideas to life.
It's like they're creating this community of people
Yeah,
who share those values, even if they don't all drive a Kia.
exactly. It's about fostering a connection with their audience, understanding their lifestyles and aspirations.
So it's not just about selling cars.
Right.
It's about selling an experience,
Yeah.
a feeling, a way of life.
Precisely. Kia wants their brand to be synonymous with innovation inspiration and the possibilities that come with movement.
Maybe it's time to take one of those new Kias for a test drive and see how their movement inspires your ideas.
That's a fantastic idea. Experiencing the brand firsthand is the best way to truly understand its impact.
This deep dive has definitely given me a new perspective on Kia.
Uh-huh.
It's clear they're not just keeping up with the times, they're trying to shape them.
And in a world saturated with brands vying for attention, this kind of thoughtful and comprehensive approach to brand identity is what sets companies apart.
This was definitely an eye-opening look at Kia's evolution.
Yeah.
I think we all learned a thing or two today about the power of a well-defined brand.
Until next time, keep those ideas moving.
Wow. We really went deep on this one.
We did.
We explored their new brand strategy, we decoded their logo, we analyzed the colors. We even got into like the nitty-gritty of their typeface and graphic motifs.
All the details?
It's clear they put a ton of thought into this.
Oh, yeah. Every little detail.
So after all this, what stands out to you most? Like, what's the big takeaway?
I think for me, it's how they're going beyond just being a car company. You know, they're trying to create a movement, a community of people who are inspired by the same things. It's like they're tapping into that human desire for connection,
Yeah.
for experiences that go beyond just the everyday.
It's like you're saying, hey, we get you.
Right,
We
exactly.
understand your aspirations, your desire to move forward and make things happen.
Exactly.
So if someone asked you, what is Kia all about now, what would you say?
I'd say Kia is about inspiring movement, both literally and figuratively.
Okay.
They're about empowering people to pursue their passions
Mm,
and make their ideas a reality.
right.
It's about creating a world where movement leads to inspiration
Okay.
and inspiration leads to action.
It's a pretty powerful message,
It is.
especially in a world that can often feel stuck
Yeah,
or stagnant.
for sure.
Maybe it's time we take one of those new Kias for a test drive
Uh-huh.
and see how their movement inspires our ideas.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to get behind the wheel and experience something firsthand to truly understand it.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive.
It
I
has.
feel like I have a whole new understanding of Kia
Me too.
and what they stand for.
It's been fascinating to explore all the thought and strategy behind their new brand identity.
Absolutely. And to all of you listening, thanks for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought,
For sure.
maybe sparked some new ideas.
Yeah.
Or inspired you to look at things from a different perspective.
Until next time, keep moving forward.
And embrace the journey.